When you wake up in the morning, after you finish washing up and you get dressed, what is it that you put on your feet? Okay, if you don't know what you put on your feet, whether you put on your kicks, your boots, whatever it is, you put on what I call your traveling shoes, okay? Because when you fasten tight your traveling shoes, you're getting ready for the day, you're getting ready for the journey. And even if we're not leaving the house necessarily, you could be at home putting on your flip-flops, your slippers. Those are your traveling shoes. My traveling shoes are very important. I like to keep my shoes on my feet, okay? Now, along the way, I learned how to run, okay? There's sometimes I'd have to cross the street, jog fast to get from A to B, and this is all about getting to school. Now, the importance of the reason I'm sharing this to you is getting to school was just a big challenge. Once I got to school, then you got to deal with education, okay, learning, teachers, and the whole aspect of bullying is not always about physical, bullying is mental, all right? So I wasn't the biggest guy in the class, I wasn't necessarily the smallest guy, but I had to learn I had to be the smartest guy, okay? Smartest guy, not just academically, but also when I'm walking around, I had to know my environment. So I want you all to be very conscious of your environment, because our environment is what we know, but that's how you got to navigate. And it's very important that we learn how to navigate, because when we put on our traveling shoes, we never know where it's going to take us through, okay? So I want you all to make sure that wherever neighborhood you live in, the environment you're in, always create a vision as far as where you want to go, all right? Because a lot of my friends who were in my neighborhood, they weren't all trying to get to, trade schools or college, all right? So I had some very good influences, in my community. Namely, I had my uncles. My uncles always taught me that you always got to walk tall and try to achieve as best as you can. And along the way, I used to always listen to my uncles because they were the positive male role models in my life. Now, in school, I got active with sports, okay? So now I'm in high school, I'm taking math classes, I'm learning biology, I'm doing well in history, all right? But some of my friends are saying, hey, let's go out and hang out, let's go out and thug, okay? I'm being very real. I'm at a very smart school, but we got some bad influences too. Now, it doesn't mean that all your schools is the same situation, but again, when you put on those traveling shoes, you got to figure out, where am I going to take myself? Am I going to let other people influence where I go? Okay, am I going to let them, check me out in a way where they're punking me out? Am I giving into that? I had to learn how to set some personal goals. And part of that is I wanted to be able to do well in my classroom, but I joined sports because it gave me some structure. Okay, that structure allowed me to have a purpose, that when I went to school, it wasn't just about doing well in school, but I had to do well in school to stay active in my sports activity. And I joined the track and field team, right? So whether you join basketball, football, gymnastics, drama club, whatever it is, learn to be more active than just the basic. Trying to have that kind of discipline and purpose was the best thing that I could have, because a lot of my friends from around the way where I live, they weren't necessarily going to the next level, all right? So I had the choice that I can follow some of my friends who hung out, and they became some of the same guys from my community who are now bullying other kids, okay? And bullying to me is nothing, I never respected that. Because how can I call you guys my friends, but when you're going around and you're snatching somebody else's chain or taking somebody else's shoes? Because you had to have that street cred and be that tough kid, okay? So having some after school activities gave me a purpose that I didn't have time to hang out with them. I had something else to do, okay? And little did I know that being very active in classes got me more involved. I ended up taking a French class, believe it or not. And I took that French class and I learned a few key things from my French teacher at the time, all right? She said, when you take on a language, it helps you see the world in a different perspective. Now, some of us already know how to speak a second language here, right? Maybe some of you probably speak 3 languages, okay? As I grew up, I knew how to speak street and how to speak properly at home. Now, when I say speak street, some of you guys can understand what I'm saying, because trying to be smart in school and then trying to be smart on the street is not the same thing. Somebody's going to look at you and just be like, nah, man, he's trying to be better than us. Okay, he's speaking, and they may use a certain term, white. Okay, and truthfully, that's not the case. We got to learn how to operate, whether we're in our hood, whether we're in the classroom, because someday you may be taking that to the boardroom, or you may be class president. Okay, we got a lot of great college students over here, and we got to be able to look at how did they get to that point. So it's good to see Patrick out here, and a lot of other college students, because they're that bridge right now between where you are, where they are, and where I am. So I look at it, I started off really from the elementary school. I fastened tight my traveling shoes. My shoes told me, okay, what's my purpose? It's got to be that I got to be better than my neighborhood. Okay. Now, it's not about just being better than your neighborhood, because you also got to see, how am I going to uplift people in my neighborhood? So I had to find my way around that. So when I started walking back through my neighborhood, my friends started seeing that, wow, this kid is really about something. Okay. He hangs out with us for a minute. I make sure I'm dapping everybody up. I'm giving them props, because as you give others props and you create that little level of uplift, they share the same thing with you. So that allowed me to keep my street creds. But when I was in school and as I started doing better in my academics, I started doing better in sports. Now, again, I'm not emphasizing sports, but coming from that sports background, track and field was my key sport. I started getting better and better. That gave me more purpose to focus on academics, because now I saw a way to get to college. Along the way, as I started competing, and Coach Claude and I, we could have, similar conversation, I ended up earning a full scholarship to Northeastern University, okay, to be a student athlete. All right. I didn't know that I would have that path, but every time I fastened tight my traveling shoes every morning, I knew that I had a higher purpose. Okay. And I couldn't let the streets or what have you undermine what it was all about. Along the way, my mom is in my ears, my pops is in my ears. He's like, take care of those academics, or I'm not having you do sports. Okay. My uncles are saying, listen, man, young man, be about it, stay focused. Okay. So I learned that I had to look alive every day. Okay. I had to learn that no matter how bad of a day that is cloudy outside, I had to create my own sunshine. Okay. And my sunshine is what I call my energy. So the concept of looking alive is I approach my day with two words: energy and enthusiasm. Okay. Remember those words, energy and enthusiasm. How many times you walk in and somebody's got low energy? How much does that lift you up? It probably doesn't, right? It drags you right back down. So you come in with a little ounce of energy, it's going to wake up the whole room around you. Okay. Enthusiasm is just like my outlook. If I want my day to be sunny, okay, I got to bring that energy and enthusiasm into my day. When I use the word fasten your traveling shoes, okay, there's a poem behind it. It says, I must fit tight my traveling shoes. There's going to be times of tears, times of joy, times when I will have to pay my dues. Okay, perhaps perhaps I'll feel the joy. Perhaps I'll have some tears. Okay, but perseverance will keep me moving on and on. Okay, it's going to be a long journey. I must fit tight my traveling shoes, and that's what life is all about. When we look at the aspects of bullying is just only a little bit back. It's a small barrier in our lives. Bullying should never stop us from trying to achieve our goals. But as I read more and I learned to interact more, I learned how to get around that. Okay, they say if you can't go through a wall, you got to find a way around it. Am I going to have to dig a hole and get under it? Yes. Am I going to have to go way around to get around it? Yes. Am I going to have to, learn how to high jump to get over it? Yes. But the worst thing you could do is get in front of that wall and just be like, oh man, that wall's just in front of me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn around and go back home. No, that should never be an option. Okay. Because that word perseverance that was mentioned earlier is about never quitting. Okay. So when you bring your energy and you bring some enthusiasm to the day, it'll create a bigger ripple. Okay. it's going to create that will to say, I'm going to get this done. I got to tell you guys have a great support over here in the 3Point. All I could leave you with is use the resources around you, because all of these superstars that you have around you right now, they're here to help build you up so that someday you can have a story, not like just myself, but every single person out here has a great story. All right. And the only way you're going to create your own story is by every day waking up. What are you going to do with those shoes? Fasten tight those traveling shoes. Once you fasten tight those traveling shoes, set that purpose. What am I going to get done today? Am I going to learn to speak a little bit more out loud to myself in front of some friends? Okay. Am I going to dare to say, you know what? I want to step into this next high school. All right. I got a second language I could speak. Maybe I need to pick up a third language, because all that's going to help your perspective. Maybe I join a club. Maybe I join a sport. But whatever you choose to take, approach it with energy and enthusiasm, and it'll keep you motivating forward.